used to feel like a fraud back then because I used to be like, I'm not an interior designer. These people think I am. And then this architect friend of mine, he called me up and he's like, hey, there's a project. Do you want to do it? And I was like, what? Do you want me to do copywriting for them? Because I'm not an interior designer. And he's like, no, just come and we'll figure this out. And I went and the clients loved whatever I was sharing on my Instagram and they hired me and I took a lot of help from. The only champagne that there is in your dreams. Every time someone's like, oh, you're an interior designer. Oh, you do luxury homes. You must be living such a glamorous life. And I'm like, the only glamour that I ever see is something that's not spoken much about. Well, or it is spoken about. I think a very strong impact that is made in a house. And you see cities like Meerut, Lucknow, even Ranchi, so many of these cities which are just booming, Jaipur, booming with beautiful homes, like absolute luxury. I don't know if you'll believe me or not. I don't know if people will judge me when I say this, but I actually did the marbling of the bathroom before doing the plumbing. So we had to rip down an entire bathroom.
Did you at least have that slope going?
We had nothing going for that bathroom.
Welcome to Design and Dialogues, everyone. Today we're here with interior designer Shalini Ganguli, who does some amazing work in luxury villas and chic apartments. She doesn't only design homes, but she crafts experiences. Today we're going to delve into the subject of luxury design and something which is called taste. Let's dive into this chat, one dialogue at a time. Welcome to Design and Dialogue, Shalini. How are you?
Good, thank you. Very excited.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Shalini Ganguli Interiors.
Yes.
How did this come about?
Long story. I was actually in advertising for 10 years.
Okay.
And started getting a bit disillusioned because I just wanted awards in advertising and not do the mundane, and the mundane started getting very boring. So I just quit one fine day. I had no plan. I'm home and I'm like, ooh, now what do I do?
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting around at home like most people were, but this is much before COVID, but I emulated those trends way before in 2012. I was sitting around and I was like, oh wait, I don't want to live in this house. This room looks terrible. That looks tacky. And I started changing things around my house. What happened was Instagram was fairly new then. And I started geotagging locations where I had seen interesting things.
Okay.
Like the timber market, which was the first time I was there, and some nice fabric shops and where the carpenters were, and Amar Colony and things like that. So I was just geotagging them.
Yeah.
And people thought I was a content creator. It was probably one of the first of that kind. And they started following me. And in a year, I had like some 22,000 followers.
Oh, wow.
It was quite crazy. And I used to feel like a fraud back then because I used to be like, I'm not an interior designer. These people think I am. And then this architect friend of mine, he called me up and he's like, hey, there's a project. Do you want to do it? And I was like, what? Do you want me to do copywriting for them? Because I'm not an interior designer. And he's like, no, just come and we'll figure this out. And I went and the clients loved whatever I was sharing on my Instagram and they hired me, and I took a lot of help from a lot of people and got that project done, and that's where it started rolling.
So was it always, since the first project, was it always luxury for you? Or was it an eventual sort of progress that you got into luxury?
No, from day one, I knew it was luxury.
Okay.
It was understated luxury, not over the top, no bling, but I knew from day one it was luxury.
And was it Pinterest and Instagram that was inspiring you, or you always sort of perhaps had an inkling and liking for, fancy stuff?
Okay, so it is interesting because I probably subliminally picked up a lot of stuff from my mother because she used to collect antiques.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we've always had carpenters and polish and varnish and, like people like that, are like things like that, people like that at home. And I think instinctively I picked up a lot just growing up around her and seeing that all the time, constantly. So I think that's where I picked it up from. And then I honed my own style for the exact opposite reasons. Because my brother and I used to constantly get injured with all my mother's furniture.
Yeah.
Because everything was carved.
Yeah.
So when I started designing it, I remember starting out with very clean lines.
Yeah.
Everything is straight, everything is linear, everything has smooth edges, no injuries, nowhere. I think my philosophy was the exact opposite of my mother's.
Okay.
But I think I'm heading in that direction again now, where I'm closer to my mom's taste.
So with luxury as well, since your mother you've got a bit of history and you've adopted that, and has the meaning of luxury as well changed for you over the years? Or is it still, golden taps and Italian marble?
I think there's a market for everything. I don't think that changes.
Yeah.
There's still going to be golden taps.
Yeah.
There's still going to be all of the above golden
Yeah.
chandeliers. There's
Yeah,
going to be
yeah.
all of it. There's going to be a lot of bling. But there's also a very evolving market for quiet luxury, where people understand craftsmanship is more important than a logo.
What are the small things that perhaps you would identify in a luxury project, which is not something that the client would pinpoint from the get-go?
Attention to detail is a very big plus for me. The quality of the material that we use,
Yeah.
the quality of the finish that we provide.
Yeah.
You're in furnishings, you would know that better than I would, how important the pleat of a curtain is, how it's stitched, how the fall of the drape is.
Yeah.
Those are the little things that actually add to the overall look way more than spending exorbitantly on one big piece of something which means nothing. It's a culmination of many small things.
So, talking about the glamour that comes with luxury projects, is it all about champagne and mood boards, or do you have to be actually on site taking the dust in as well?
Right. The only champagne that there is in your dreams. Every time someone's like, oh, you're an interior designer, oh, you do luxury homes, you must be living such a glamorous life. And I'm like, the only glamour that I ever see is on the day of the handover, where I'm allowing the clients into their home.
Yeah.
And I'm exiting. Till
Yeah.
then, it's just dust and safety helmets and
Yeah.
all kinds of protection gear in a very dangerous site.
Yeah.
So it's glamorous only in pictures,
Yeah.
and not so much in the day-to-day.
So, what is an assumption that people make in terms of when you talk about luxury design that is completely off?
I think a common misconception that people have is that they need to have a very big budget for the Italian marble that they need to put. Sure, you do want to put good marble. It doesn't have to be the most expensive, because a lot of it is going to be covered under carpets. And I would certainly hope that there is a good amount and a good portion of the budget remaining by the time we
Definitely.
come to the
Yeah,
carpets, so that we
yeah.
can have the best carpets
Yeah,
over there.
yeah.
Because I feel like those things like carpets and cushions and things like that, they add to the overall look
Yeah.
way more than an Italian flooring does.
definitely.
In fact, now what I'm loving is the trend of a lot of designers who are going back to using Indian marble,
Okay.
which seem to have gone completely out of circulation, is much more reasonable, but people know that it's a flooring, and
Yeah.
they can do a lot more with a lot many other things than just with the flooring.
Interesting. So, when you're designing your projects, is it more instinct that you follow, or is it a more structured design thinking that you always incorporate within your projects?
I think it's a mix of both. We are in a creative field. It is a creative industry, but I don't see myself as a fine artist. I'm not going to be splashing colors around randomly in someone's living room.
Yeah.
I'm trying my best to bring their vision out for them, while holding true to my own style, which is still luxury, understated luxury, but I'm still working with someone to bring their vision out to life. So I think it has to be a blend of fine art and applied art, where you have to add that element of function into your creativity to be able to give the client what they actually require, and not just an elephant that they're living with.
Do you feel that residential projects, just because they're so much closer to anyone's heart, they have a lot more nuances that an interior designer probably has to follow, and a lot more things to take into consideration, because designs and ideas, you wake up one day and I want something else.
Yeah.
There's a new post on Pinterest, this is the new trend. How do you go with that? How do you keep evolving with the constant changes?
Okay. So it is connected to my last answer, where I said I like to bring the client's vision to life. I'm very open-minded with the client. This is not about me stoking my own ego.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to create something that is going to be something that the other person doesn't relate to. I'm trying to do the best for them in what they want, within the realms of what they want. The process I follow is actually I interview each family member individually and try and understand them, their vision for their home, their room, what they envision for their lifestyle.
Fantastic.
What they envision for themselves in terms of their entertainment, or if it's a quiet space for themselves, how do they see their own lives, and try to incorporate all of that into my thought process while designing.
Interesting. Luxury clients, as you said, it's good that you interview all of them, all the family members, but they have their own sort of way of working as well. Have you faced any challenges when you've been working with them?
I don't see them as challenges. I see them as opportunities to create something new, to create something different. I think I see them as sessions of brainstorming, even with the client. I don't see them as problematic. I feel like they could have a vision which is nicer to me. Like I said, it's not me trying to enforce something on them. It's me trying to bring their vision out. And if an idea or a thought or a suggestion of theirs is better than something I've come up with, I don't have any ego in accepting it and going along with it. But yes, I'll stay true to my style. I'm not going to compromise on the looks. I'm not going to compromise on something that I don't like. I also think that this process, in the way that I do it, kind of builds a little bit more trust with my client, because they know I'm on their side, I'm on their team. I'm not trying to take away from them. I'm trying to add to it. I'm trying to develop their vision with them.
What's the most extravagant request that you've gotten so far?
Atharva, I have a very boring response to this.
Okay.
My style is pretty much classic contemporary, and the people who usually get in touch with me to design their homes resonate with me, even in their personality, where they have a preference for the understated. So I'm very sorry to say there's been absolutely no 50 Shades of Grey kind of request that's happened yet.
Is there any material, design or concept which just screams luxury? Apart from Italian marbles and, just...
Something that's not spoken much about, or it is spoken about. I think a very strong impact that is made in a house is veneers. It's natural, it's sustainable, it's long-term. You can get so many different kinds of designs and finishes just using veneers without going to your polyurethane.
Okay.
So many different things can be created with it. It's such a beautiful material, so versatile. It can go in any range of interiors. I think this is one material that I absolutely love, fascinated with, don't know enough about, can never know enough about.
Since I come from a background of soft furnishings, obviously, from a luxury interior designer's perspective, what is one fabric that you would always pick for a home?
Low pile velvet, which doesn't leave a mark.
Okay, so non-impression basically.
Non-impression, a lot of jacquard, silks, satins.
Okay,
nice. Those are my preferences usually.
Fantastic. So design is one aspect of it. The other aspect, I suppose, is the execution side of things. How does an interior designer manage contractors, deadlines, and also the vendor management process?
Having a very good team of PMC on board, who's ensuring none of the timelines are getting delayed upon, who know what phase, what is coming up, what drawings are needed, what material needs to be selected, someone who's keeping us on the schedule, being able to track it with a professional, not just try and do it all by yourself, is one of the easiest ways to keep it efficiently moving along. Keeping the timelines in mind. Of course, this is a labor-oriented industry. So their holidays, the labor who goes home seldom likes to come back on time. There are all kinds of pitfalls. In Delhi, when you're working, there's GRAP for 3 months of the year. So keeping all of that in perspective, you need to have a very good, solid team of people who are managing the project for you, ensuring that you're moving along in correct timelines.
So as you said, it's a labor market where you've got a little bit of unskilled people as well and skilled people. So what if something goes wrong? What's your thought process then?
So in a lot of projects, it's not just at the labor stage where things can go wrong. It's also structural. So sometimes you're working alongside an architect and your drawings are done, and when the structures made, a lot of measurements are different. We don't look at the execution in the bigger picture. We look at it in the smaller picture. It's baby steps. It's you're
Break
doing
it down.
you're breaking it down in many thousands of little pieces. It is the reason why it's important to keep tracking and monitoring the process of the work is so that you make sure that if there are small glitches here and there, you amend it then and there, so that it doesn't escalate into a much larger problem that you probably can't even deal with at a later stage. So it's always very good to just keep managing and keeping an eye out on small things that require changes on site.
Interesting. Because I feel that the labor market, especially in this industry, has gotten a lot better since, I don't know, maybe a decade or so ago. I strongly feel that there should be a little more training and development for the staff. Yes, they learn mostly on the job, but there is no system of apprenticeship in India like it is with many other countries.
Yeah.
If we could perhaps change that, that could be such a game changer, especially for our industry.
Atharva, it's an expensive industry. If we have skilled labor, chances are the project's going to double up in budget.
Yeah,
and it is going to become even more exclusive.
you're right.
Not only that, having jobs available to people who are probably not skilled, trained on site, trained by the work that they do, provides many more families the opportunity to get employed. They are just more employable than if we had an industry flooded with skilled workers where it would just be inflated and the bulk of people wouldn't be employed anymore, and it would just create a kind of discord which wouldn't work.
Yeah, because I suppose when you're doing these projects, the budget is already so high. If you add the labor component to it as well, we would probably be at par with any of the First Nation countries in terms
We
of...
already are, if not more.
Okay.
Because just because we are economical, I won't say cheap, it's still relatively economical as far as labor is concerned. In our projects, we tend to choose the best material. Where like we're using marble, which is probably some of the most expensive marble in the whole world. We're picking up furniture from Italy, where we're able to do these things because somewhere there is a kind of a balance happening in the budget.
Which city do you think, apart from keeping Delhi NCR aside and even Punjab aside, because I know there's been a lot of beautiful homes that are coming out there, a lot of luxury projects. Apart from these two regions, which other city do you feel is really upping the game in this segment?
Atharva, you'll be very surprised to hear this, but I think we're going to soon be lagging behind in terms of beautiful homes in Delhi because of the speed at which B2 cities, tier 2 cities are growing, and they have the power to employ anyone from anywhere, and they do.
Yeah.
And you see cities like Meerut, Lucknow.
Okay.
Even Ranchi, so many of these cities which are just booming, Jaipur, booming with beautiful homes, like absolute luxury.
Fantastic. Speaking of AI and how I know some of the interior designers and architects have started adopting the technology, and it's just the start of AI. But do you feel that will work well in the design industry moving forward?
If it is the way forward, you might as well adopt it than fighting it.
I guess.
It's not going to take over because for a lay person to be able to achieve the same results out of AI, they would need to know as much as you know. In which case they wouldn't approach you to do their project anyway. But the kind of skills that you require to even get that kind of result out of AI, it's a great support tool. Let's not pretend we don't use it. We do use it. We use it to showcase our thought process more than taking from it.
Okay. Coming to a little bit about philosophy in the future, since we started talking about AI already, is there a design philosophy that is very personal to you that you have held on to since from day one?
Craftsmanship.
Okay.
It's timeless. It can create timelessness. Trends have a lifespan of like 7 years, 8 years. But if it's a well-crafted piece of furniture, whatever it is, if it's a well-crafted piece, it travels with you. It becomes timeline. It just becomes timeless. It is the same philosophy with which we see antiques, which are 300 years old, 400 years old, still having pride of place in homes and restaurants and very exclusive hotels. The reason for that being that they focused on the craft more than just the piece of furniture.
I have to say, the way that you've just given the answer comes back to the first question that
Yes,
I asked you,
which is
that
where-
how
Yeah,
you'd started,
it started
and how
from
your,
there.
and your mum's
Yeah,
role
yeah.
in the
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm sure you've done. We know that you've done plenty of projects. What's one project that you feel has deeply resonated with you? Have you done a family home for yourself, perhaps, or something like a? Tell me about that.
So, in terms of a project that is very close to my heart, I would say it would be my own first home where I discovered this is something I love doing.
Okay.
But in terms of one that had the biggest impact on me, it would be my first project. Luckily, it was the family home of one of the biggest builders in Calcutta.
Okay.
So I had a lot of support from them as a family. They just
Yeah.
believed in my taste, which
Yeah.
is why they
Oh,
hired
that's
me.
good.
But they
Yeah.
knew that I was pretty much a greenhorn in the industry.
Yeah.
And that honesty allowed me to make some really ridiculous mistakes.
Okay.
Which was the biggest learning curve for me.
Right.
I don't know if you'll believe me or not. I don't know if people will judge me when I say this, but I actually did the marbling of the bathroom before doing the plumbing.
Okay.
So we had to rip down an entire
Yeah.
bathroom.
Did you at least have that slope going?
We had nothing going for that bathroom.
Oh.
Okay, we had to rip it down, do the plumbing all
Yeah.
over again, and then marble it all over again.
Or you burn your hand and you learn, right?
Yes, absolutely. But the clients were amazing. They were
Yeah.
like, it's fine. We knew
Yeah.
that you're going to make some mistake or the other. So yeah, that was the biggest learning curve for me, and a project that was the closest to my heart because that was
Okay.
the first time I'd ever done something like
Yeah.
that, ever. And I remember when the client, when I was saying bye to them, and this was in Calcutta, when I was saying bye and I was coming back to Calcutta, like the husband, the father, he was like, Beta, thank you so much. When we shut the door, I feel like we're in London. And I was like,
Oh, that's
oh my God, that's such an ultimate compliment for
Yeah.
me. So yeah, so that's one of the projects that's like the closest to my heart.
Fantastic. So where do you think the future of luxury interiors is headed?
You know, Atharva, this is again connected to another question that I had answered earlier. There's a market for everything. You will still have your bling. You will still have a lot of gold. You will still have a lot of colorful interiors. But I think the market is evolving very fast. People are understanding quiet luxury. They are understanding that quality of material. They are understanding that subtlety is actually more impactful.
Less is more.
Less is more. The different layers of your home needs to come together. Nothing needs to fight for attention. Nothing needs to be over-designed. Your ceiling can be subtle, your flooring can be subtle, your furniture can be subtle, your art can be subtle, your furnishing can be subtle, and overall it can still create a very big impact
Yeah.
that if you had 20 steps on your ceiling couldn't have created. So I think we're headed towards more quiet luxury.
Very well explained.
Thank you.
The last segment
Yeah.
is going to be just a little rapid fire that I've gotten. So I'm going to
Okay.
pull up my paper from here.
Okay.
It's going to be only 3 questions we've gotten.
Okay,
Okay. So I'll fire.
go for it.
What's one overrated luxury design trend?
Shapeless mirrors or amoeba mirrors, whatever
Okay.
they're called.
Okay. Stay away from them.
Yeah, please stay away because it's a trend. It's not going to last. Just don't do it to yourself.
One material you'll never get bored of.
High quality fabric.
Okay.
Yeah.
A non-design book every designer should read.
1,000 Splendid Suns by Khalid Hosseini.
Okay. Fantastic. That's all I've got. Perhaps I should do another video with you, which has got a bit more, of these rapid fire questions. I really
Sure,
enjoy.
yeah, that would be amazing.
I know for the viewers, we're very good friends
Yeah.
outside of this setting as well.
Yeah.
So I think we should do another one where we're getting
Would
to
love
know a
to.
bit more about interiors
Yeah.
and Shalini
Yeah,
Ganguli.
would love to.
But today, I think that's all we've got.
Thank you.
You for
Thank
being a part of this.
Thank you so
and
much.
I do hope that the viewers take something out of this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shalini.
All right.
It was a pleasure.